Now, many people get a doubt. Most people ask me this doubt. Actually, they are confused at what whether a program is composition of objects or classes. Actually, prima facie would tell that any program is composition of objects. Actually, what is class? For anything, for any data, if you have to define and all that, the corresponding blueprint you require. Suppose if I ask you water, what you do? First, for for holding water, by catching water, you find out corresponding container. First container, I asked you water. Then first you are taking a glass. I asked you tiffin. You are searching for first container, thereafter content. So what is required? Container is required. For data also we want a container. So I am talking about, suppose if you analyze that, this is the real thing, this is the container or a blueprint, this is the real thing, this is a container or blueprint. Now let us come to object. Object is a real thing. Then what is the where is the blueprint? The blueprint is the class. Understand? So for everything in programming or in real life also, whatever real thing you want to take, first you think of its corresponding appropriate container. So that is the relation between the class. Object is the real thing, and first we have to develop blueprint. Thereafter we have to derive corresponding objects from the class, from the blueprint. Suppose if you want to construct a building, what is your first job? To whom? Which specialist you approach first? You approach an architect. What architect is doing? Just first he develops a blueprint and gives it to you. That is your first activity. Thereafter you start other activities and all that. So here also, now you identified building is composition of rooms. So room is the object. So corresponding class you develop. Now you realize that a classroom is composition of students. So you identify student is an object. First you develop the class. The student is the reality, and corresponding class you develop, that is that is a blueprint for that. In the same manner, a school if you take, class is the object, then for that you develop a blueprint. So this is the system what you follow. Okay, this is object oriented programming. And one thing, in order to digest this concept, lot of refinement is just this is the beginning for the object orientation. Thereafter many concepts I explain, and thereafter you implement also in Java first chapter. You implement it in different program. By that you can get 100% command over this concept. Until then you may have some abstract knowledge, don't worry about that. Now already I told you one thing. In structured programming, for design purpose, we are using top-down modular approach. Top-down modular approach. Then house construction. Thereafter, we are dissecting like this and all that. Here, this is called bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach. Actually, this is the object. This is the object. This is the object. This is the object. We are object is the building block. By composing objects, we are constructing things, a structure. That's why this design pattern is called bottom up approach. From object to object we pile up, and we compose, and ultimately we develop a structure. In this, from top to bottom we come. That's why it is called top down modular approach. Okay, next. Now after this explanation and all that, certain characteristics I have to explain. Already I explained two things, class and object. Thereafter, encapsulation. Encapsulation. Encapsulation means you can understand the integration. Actually, This is the encapsulation. Because of encapsulation, what is happening? Set of data items and set of functions are integrated as one unit with a single identifiable entity with a identifiable name. That is encapsulation. Because of the encapsulation, outside elements cannot access the data directly. If they want, they can access indirectly. Suppose your body you take, then there are many organs and limbs in your body, and it is encapsulated by skin. Skin. You also cannot see what is there, what are the components or organs in your inside the body. Outside people cannot access it directly. Through interfaces only they can access it. Understand? So what are your interfaces? Your interfaces actually, I missed that point. Now your body is totally encapsulated. Then outside people cannot see. You also cannot see what are inside and all that. How you are interacting? You are interacting through your interfaces. What are your interfaces? You know that your eyes, ears, mouth, skin, legs, etc. are your interfaces. Through your interfaces, your body is fully encapsulated. Through your interfaces, you are interacting with the outside world or other people. In the same manner, now you see the data items are encapsulated. Nobody can access. These are the interfaces. These are the functions. These are providing interfaces. Through that, one can interface. Suppose you have your friend's account. You want to deposit an amount, but you cannot see how much balance he is having and all that. Can you see the bank balance in your friend's account? No. But if you want to deposit, you can deposit. You can. That means you are interacting with his account, but you cannot access his data. Understand? So that is the power of this is called data hiding. This is possible through encapsulation. Because of this encapsulation, we can achieve the integration of data and functions which act upon the data as one single identifiable entity. That is the basic benefit. And because of this, we are able to provide security for the data. That simply what we call data hiding or information hiding. This is like constructing a compound wall around your house. Understand? So data security, already I told you, in structured programming, what is the missing feature, what is the loophole is data is not secured. Data flows throughout the system. When data flows throughout the system, somewhere or other data may be manipulated wrongly without uh, your expectation. Then undesirable results may come. Sometimes it may lead to error. So in this, data is highly secured. That is the most fundamental and basic requirement for every programming. So that is achieved. So one is encapsulation. Encapsulation is useful for integrating data and functions. Second one is data hiding. Because of that, security of data can be provided. Third one is extendable. Actually, whatever system we develop and all that should not be static type. If it is static type, what is the problem? If any advancement is required, we have to develop other system from the scratch. So because of that reason, the time consumption is more, and as well as the cost of the project is increased. That's why Wu programming mainly provides inheritance. Inheritance means it's almost like the real life concept. In real life also inheritance is there. Whatever is the property of your parents or father, you get. Like that, inheritance means creating new classes from the existing classes. Suppose, and this is the existing class. In this, let us say A, B, C data is there, X, Y, Z functions are there, X, Y, Z functions are there. Now this class is already existing, but after some time you require one class it requires A, B, C, D, E. That means the two data items are extra, and it requires Y, Z functions and M and N functions. Two new functions are required, two new data items are required. So because of inheritance, now you see one class is already existing. It was being used. So it was tested thoroughly. Any loopholes are there in that, those are plugged. Now you want a new class with a new data and new functionalities. Then you are adding. You can easily add data and you can easily add functions according to your project requirement. By that, lot of work is saved, and most of your uh, new class or new product or project is already more than 50% or so. It is tested. That's why you can rely on that. Rely on that. That's why lot of time is saved and lot of money is saved. Then software projects, the cost of the software project is decreased enormously, and you can compete with your competitors well and all that. In that way, there are numerous features because of WOOP. That's why WOOP has become a buzzword in the industry, software industry and all that. Everybody's dream is nowadays, every programmer's dream is to master WOOP, but that is not so easy. In my view, it is very easy, but most students never study C language. Never study C language means actually they never study function oriented programming, that is or structured programming. If they study C program and then comes to WOOP and all that, they can save a lot of time and they can understand the concept of WOOP very easily, and they can understand the advancement of WOOP over FOP by themselves. They can experience that. That is very important. Actually, once again I am telling you, first you study FOP, that means C language, and then you come to Java. If you ignore C++ also, I don't mind, because Java is a true object oriented programming language. Then whatever time you are expecting to study Java, 50% of the time or more than that you can save in studying Java once you master C language. But without studying C language, that means without studying POP and structured programming, if you come to WOOP and all that, always you may perform programs, but you never achieve perfect command over that. Your behavior is always a blind man's behavior. Blind man also every day is performing his jobs, daily routines and all that. But what are the limitations for him? You know very well. I need not explain. So, as on the day, uh, in software industry, mainly they are developing WOOP systems, WOOP projects based on WOOP systems, and they are proved very dynamic as well as very efficient and all that. And one more thing I have to tell you, many programming languages which were already existing are coming out with their latest versions with WOOP features. That's why if you are perfect over WOOP, object oriented programming concepts as well as programming and all that, ultimately you will become a proficient programmer, and you can choose your employer. That much I can tell. All this is a matter of few weeks of time. but you start your journey from C. Then you come to Java.